Well, hello, Jessica Woodbeck.
Hi.
Thank you for pivoting.
Yes,
Sometimes happens and we have to make it happen, right?
that's right. Where
All
there's a
right.
will, there's a way.
Exactly. So, how do you explain to people who you are? Because I know
Oh,
you are the CEO of Thrive Realty, but you're also making it's not a pivot, you're adding, right? In theory, coaching. So, how do you tell
hmm
people who you are?
yeah. So, in the professional world, I am an entrepreneur that helps others transform their businesses and lives to be thriving in all categories. So, I do that through coaching, mentoring, speaking engagements, workshops, and then, of course, I run our businesses here under the Thrive Network.
So, did you just not have enough to do in your day and you were like, I want to add more to my calendar? Like, what made you go from building Thrive Realty to something that's so beautiful and amazing? Describe to people why Thrive Realty before we get into the coaching.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate for 16 years now. I come from a corporate background and a corporate family, very automotive, like Go Michigan, Big Three. Went into automotive work and realized that it wasn't fulfilling. And I think back then I was so young. I really had no business being at General Motors or in the position I was in. I was very blessed to have generational um, recommendations. I think I got in because I was my father's daughter. That's it.
Listen, you use your
Yes.
connections when you have connections,
Yes, it was
period.
it was the who you knew in that situation. And I quickly learned that while this was phenomenal work, great education, I got to travel to China. I got to work in many different departments. I learned how to negotiate there. It just wasn't fulfilling. It lacked the people connection that is really important to my heart. So I decided to go into real estate because I've always been drawn to wanting to know what real estate is on the market, how much homes are worth. It just runs in the family. My mom was an interior designer. And I took off like a bat out of hell, really. I mean, it was just something that I thrived in, literally. I loved, I couldn't get enough of. And as my career grew and I left corporate America, I joined a franchise like most of us do. And it was amazing. I actually was plucked and put into corporate America there. That was a phenomenal opportunity. And what I learned when I started helping run bigger business in real estate was that um, it just didn't make sense the way we were doing it. I think in corporate America, everyone poo poos corporate America, but let's be honest, it's as old as time. There's divisions, there's hierarchy, uh, there's organization to chaos there, and it's done in a refined way because it's been done time and time again. And in real estate, you're expected, and like any entrepreneurial commission only opportunities, you're expected to wear every hat possible and to burn yourself out in order to succeed. And I thought as a single mom, like this is bananas. This isn't my training. This isn't what I was taught. This doesn't make sense. How come we don't have contract management departments? How come we don't have marketing departments? Why do I, as a brand new person in this field, have to seek out those specialists and then pay them when I can't freaking afford it in the first place, nor do I know how to even find them. So, um, after almost 10 years in the industry, I decided it was time to launch our own independent operation and bring the vision of leverage, delegation, a more sophisticated approach for a salesperson to succeed to the Metro Detroit area.
Well, it's not just a more sophisticated approach. You've created a way for people to still have a life outside of real estate, right? Like family is still important. It's
Yeah,
not just, hey, there's an open house on Sunday, so I have to miss everything going on in my life. I can't go to the kids'
right,
soccer game, right? I mean, that's
right.
what a lot of real estate agents have to miss is things going on in their life because they're selling houses. You created a
Yes.
system, a support system for your agents so that they could still have a life outside of real estate, correct?
Yes, exactly. I think our any sales world, it's always this more, more, more mentality, like sell more homes, sell more cars, sell more products, whatever it is. And nobody actually shares with you like, how do you do that without giving up everything you came here for? most people come to those worlds, the entrepreneurial opportunity, to create flexibility, to create no cap on their income, to be driven by what they're passionate about. And one day you wake up in real estate and you're like, I hate my job, I hate my life, I lost everything that I loved, and here I am, and I can't get off the hamster wheel. How do I stop? So yeah, we have a wellness component here at Thrive that really speaks to the whole person. And this year we're doing some exciting things with that. That is probably where my heart lies in the whole operation of Thrive, is really the nucleus, the nebulous of wellness, and how we really look to take care of salespeople that come in and staff members that come in and say, hey, I know if you're whole and happy, you're going to give so much better service out there, period.
Exactly. When you're drained and there's nothing left and you don't know who to turn to because your agency could care less, it's like, well, wait, I'm literally on this island by myself. How am I supposed to succeed and survive? And I
Yeah.
love that you've taken everything that you've learned and created a safe space for agents. I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that is Thrive.
That's Thrive. Yeah.
Then we decided to add this other component with,
Yeah.
is it boiled down to, do we say business coaching? Is it communication? How do we explain to people?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of transformational coaching. It is what you need it to be, and
Okay.
obviously I have limits on what I believe I can actually help people in. I can't help people do all the things. There's probably better professionals out there if you're looking to learn, a foreign language or how to be a black belt in karate. I'm not going to be the one that's going to help you with that. But if you're looking to launch a business or tweak your business to create culture, to create wellness within it so that people really get that sense of belonging, to create more efficiencies and operational excellence. That's something I can absolutely help you with. And usually, what I found in my coaching, which is why it moved towards a formal offering, I've always coached. I've mentored probably over the last 12 years pretty heavily. But I've done it quietly because my main and core business is Thrive Realty Co. and the Thrive Network and what we're doing here. And in the last year, we pivoted from that because I have a really talented staff. We've been in business quite some time, and there's space for me to be able to say, okay, how can we go a little bit further and make a bigger impact? So I founded all of my coaching. People will come for the culture component of like, well, how do I implement that here? How do I create that? How do I retain more talented people and stop losing them? How do I get started? How do I simplify? How do I make it more efficient and effective? And then always, and I'm going to say always, it moves into the transformational aspect of that leader and what has been blocking that leader to actually be able to lead at the capacity they desire. And so then it moves into the personal transformation that people need to go through in order to hit maximum potential.
What transformation did you have to go through yourself to hit that?
Mm.
Because when you're building a business, right, and I'm a control freak. I'm pretty sure you want to be in control of things, especially when you have a vision. Like, let's all execute this vision together.
Sure.
How did you start to grow your team, but then also not just lead, but sort of step back as a leader and say, okay, do the thing now. I trust you to do the thing. How did you
Yeah.
get to that space of trusting?
It's success through others is probably one of the hardest skills to learn and transfer to other people. Um, People who are driven usually are that type A personality. They're extreme. They want to hold it tight because they're fearful their vision won't come true or someone will make a mistake and it'll all blow up because we work so hard to get to where we're at. So I totally understand that. And it is the next level in terms of business ownership. If you can't move forward through delegation or success through others, you can only go so far, right? We're human beings and you can only offer so much. And so I had to go through, I am a team player through and through. I'm hardwired to want to be on a team. I'm hardwired to want to lead a team. I used to sabotage in middle school and high school my track solo acts just to do the relays until my coach caught on and they were like, hey, you sabotage that one more time, sweetheart, you're out. Like, you can't do this. I'd like do twice the distance and in half the time on a relay and then be like, oh, so crazy. I added 5 minutes to that 100-yard dash. I just don't love solo acts. I love the idea of the tribal effect. I believe the knowledge transfer and the collective genius is really where it's at. We can do so much more. So that has been something I've always known. And then I learned the formal skills of it through multiple modalities, just really attending a lot of entrepreneur masterminds. So it wasn't just real estate. I would go to a lot of business building, scaling building, uh, consultative approaches to business in general. And there isn't a business or a successful person that I've studied that has done it alone. And so I'm a big modeler. And I think if you can say success leaves clues, then you have to pay attention and roll up your sleeves and do the hard stuff. It takes years to transfer your knowledge. It takes years to learn the skills as a leader, to lead others effectively, to pivot, to be an adaptive leader. That's probably been, I don't know if that'll ever end as a journey and a skill set that we want to acquire because every person is so unique and has their own things that they're working through. And so I love it. I think it's that's where for me the passion lies. We just happen to sell real estate. I love real estate because there's no cap, right? You can sell as many homes as you want, especially here at Thrive, and still live a really big, bold life and never have anybody tell you don't have it in you or you got to do these things in order to get a promotion. And so I think that's why people love this industry or any sales industry. And I think the success through others piece is something that allows you to actually build a business worth sharing.
So when it comes to team members, do you come from a space of understanding? And I'm obviously referencing myself because I have to come to this place of understanding.
Yeah.
That somebody's 100% might be my 80%. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I have
Oh,
to
yeah.
be okay with this is how they interpreted what I asked them to do. And then I also have to be okay with, okay, let's learn from this, right? Instead of being like, why couldn't you just read my mind? I have to use it as great. Now it's a learning experience. Fabulous. Let's discuss why this didn't work.
Yeah. That's that
How do you
adaptive
become
leadership.
okay with that? Okay, adaptive leadership. That's what you're
Yeah.
referencing with adaptive
Yeah,
leadership.
that's the adaptive leadership is understanding one, to replace yourself will be near impossible. Or otherwise the person would be doing exactly what you're doing. And you have to accept that up front. And so I can't expect someone to care about Thrive as deeply as I do with the responsibility I have to this business that they never will. They don't hold the risk, they don't hold all of the reward. And so if you know that, then you can't expect them to give 110% to it. And I think 80% of you is better than you dropping down to 50% because you're burned out.
Okay, that just put that in perspective. Wait a second. That was really good.
Yeah.
Why did I
And
never
you're not
make
going
that
anywhere.
why did I never make that mental pivot of realizing that,
Well, I
oh
think
wow, okay. Whew.
the holy grail, Rachel, of anybody hiring anyone
Mm-hmm.
is you seek to find the person that you think would be better than you. That's what you're looking for. And so if you're hiring entry level, you're never going to get that there. And you know that. So it's already an upfront exception, right? You've
Mm-hmm.
already accepted. I know I'm not going to get 110 of me from this person because it's an entry level person. They don't have the experience, they don't have the wherewithal yet. They're going to be taught and trained. And then one day when you get the funds and you have the ability to hire a CEO or replace
Mm-hmm.
yourself, the goal there is to hire somebody that's better than you. I think that's the holy
I love
grail
that.
of business scale is like, how do I find that person that I know would outpace me?
But what you just said really puts it in perspective because I've been stuck holding on, right? Which you're very aware
Mm-hmm.
of. I'm
Yeah,
slowly like peeling my fingers back.
good.
Today I had that like panic attack in the morning. I'm going to read to you what I wrote in my diary because I was
Okay.
like, I need to like
Mm,
sit and just think and breathe because I feel like I'm like on the merry-go-round. Like we keep going back to start. right? I feel like I'm like playing
Yeah.
Monopoly and I'm back to fucking start.
Yes.
um, so I feel like a broken record. We're back to start, but my desire to not want to keep ending up here has to be greater than giving in to anything else, which to
Mm.
me was multiple things. Health, right? Giving into like making poor health choices, and
Yep.
then not wanting to outsource certain things.
Yep.
My desire to not have want to be in this like low frequency back to like why are we here again has to be bigger than anything else. So that
Yes.
when I come to a choice or a decision, I have to ask myself, okay, does this move the narrative forward? Does it move the needle forward? Is there 80% good enough? Because if it's not, then like putting that in perspective, then it will bring me down mentally, physically, emotionally, and energetically to 50%. Do we want me down here? No. So I love to add that perspective
Yeah.
to
Yeah. And
everything I'm going through.
you're not saying like, come on in person, whether it's an entry level or emerging talent. You're not saying, come on in and I want you to be me
No.
because you want to be you, right? You're
Yeah.
not in a place in your business where you want to let go of the steering wheel, right? Not yet.
Right. No.
And so
No.
you're not looking for you. You're looking for someone to offset the portion of the work that you do that you know could be done by somebody else. And that somebody else could possibly become better at that portion of the work than you could doing all portions of the work. Does that make sense?
Yes, which also means
Okay.
I just have to get through that growing pains time frame of I outsource. Let's just speak about regarding editing, but this
Oh,
could apply
yes.
to anything, right? We outsource editing. I get
Yep.
that first pass edit back. It's not the best thing. It's not where, like, it's not how I would have done it, but it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, we can, depending on time frame, right? Like, what time frame do I want to meet with these? I can say, hey, make these fixes, and this is why, or we just ship it and go on to the next thing.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Both are yeses. So you can do both. You don't have to do one or the other every single time. You
Mm-hmm.
can pick and choose. Some pieces of media going out, as much as we want them to have our stamp on it and be perfect and be feeling right, I think that's the piece we're actually after. It's got to feel right, which is,
Mm-hmm.
a mathematical equation that's almost impossible to
It's a
solve.
mathematical equation
Yes,
in my head. The way I edit is like
exactly.
music to me. So I
Yes.
edit a very specific way. And
Yep.
it's
So you have to just ask yourself, can I outsource editing on majority of my work and keep the piece? Let's say your YouTube channel is really important to you, your podcasts are really
mm-hmm.
important to you. Whatever piece of the media that you feel um, you have the time to allocate to that editing portion that makes you feel whole and happy and makes your heart sing, do it.
Yeah,
If
I
it's
have those automated. That's working. It's the vlogging
right.
that's like this like weird stop. But I
Mm-hmm.
also have to remember like no one's watching it anyway. So these early vlogs, like they're not.
Yes,
So it's like these early
exactly.
vlogs just have to exist in the space and time um, that I create for them because I wanted to do
100%.
them. Does that make sense?
Oh gosh,
And
yeah.
so I just feel like I keep getting stuck on this, not perfect per se, but just I want to hear it the way I heard it when I was recording and directing myself.
Yep.
But that may not be possible at a certain point. Publishing it is better than it just sitting on the camera roll.
Correct. I used to have a mentor that would tell me, Jess, your video outperforms everyone's non video all day. And I
Correct.
was like, okay, you should, on my first media piece, you should see my first media pieces. I hired a gentleman, young guy. He's great. He works for Gary Vee today. But
Holy
back
God.
then,
Damn.
he came to me as a crypto miner. And I said, well, do you have any, I had no spot for him. And I was like, do you have any work that you've ever done in media? Have you ever picked up a camera, done video? He's like, yeah, I Snapchat all day. And I was like, hired. Let's do this
Done.
thing.
Let's do it.
And it was awful at first. It was so bad. But those videos got my name on the map as somebody who was out there doing videos, contributing through education. And it allowed me to then hire somebody else when the time came.
I want to talk about that because that's how I discovered who you are was through your social media. I had a client who was in real estate and we were starting to work
Okay.
together and I was like, tell me who it is. Like, show me somebody that it sort of emulates the style and the look that you're going for, right? Because there's so many different ways to do this. And
Yeah.
she pulled up your page and I was like, got it. But I was so taken with everything that you were doing because it was like, I wish more people could understand putting the investment into these platforms, right?
Yeah.
To doing the videos. Yes, you can self-tape, you can do all those things and you do that, but you integrate that into the other stuff that you're doing to get the message
Yes.
across, right? And so I
Yep.
was like, "Oh my god, this woman gets it." Like she totally gets it. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. What made you decide to actually hire a team to help with content marketing and content and videos on the podcast? Because you
Yeah.
could have just tried to keep it small and just kept doing solo videos, but you decided, okay, I'm going to upgrade this. What made you decide to do that? Like, what was the thing that you were like, okay, I have to invest in this. There's not going to be a return on investment immediately, maybe, especially
Hmm.
with social media. You never really know. It depends on what the goal is. What made you say, like, okay, I'm going to actually put money towards this?
Yeah. Well, I think when you have a clear vision, decisions like this become very easy for someone like me. So my vision for Thrive Realty Co. for prior to that, the business I was running, was to tell the story behind the realtor, was to truly document and not create. I'm in more of probably a 50-50 balance right now where I'm documenting versus creating. But back then, I just wanted to document the fact that we were real people doing real business and we were just like our clients, except we have mastered this one area of life that we could help them with. And at that time, I felt realtors and the definition in which the general public had about us was that we were commission breathed, useless people that they didn't really need, but they used them most of the time. And so it made transactions difficult, made communication difficult, and made the again, right, the more for a real estate agent was so incessant that people all around me, I had probably the most successful people in the industry in our country. I have had that aren't celebrities. I've had the honor of getting to know. And when you pulled back the curtain of some of these people, you could see the misery. And I wanted to tell a different story. I wanted a different outcome. And the only way I could do that, honestly, was saying, hey, follow me around. Let's show them what we got. And it was a form of accountability. It was a form of storytelling. I believe when you can connect with your clients in a way that is so much bigger than the transaction or the product or the thing that you're selling to make the money, the client is able to go, yeah, this is worthwhile. I want to do this time and time again.
Well, and I think it worked beautifully for you because really people don't buy the what, they buy the why. And if you're one of millions of real estate agents across the country, what makes
Mm,
you different than this one? Who makes it different than this one? Right. And
exactly.
so by telling your story, not just about you as an agent, but also about Thrive Realty altogether, it was so perfect. And I was like, oh my God, this person gets it. Why do you think so many people still are kind of on the back burner of telling their story? That they're trying to sell the thing and not say, hey, this is why I'm doing the thing.
Well, it's hard as Rachel. It's hard.
I know, trust me.
It's
Here's all the vlogs that I haven't posted yet because I'm like, can I really be this honest about what I'm doing and what I'm going through? This is
be
scary as
totally honest. To tell your story is a skill. And it's hard to do. If you're my age or older, we were taught to not brag. We were taught to be humble. We were taught to just go along to get along.
well,
And
also
so,
mask it, right? You put the mask on. It's
yes,
so easy. Look at my Instagram perfect life. It's everything's
yes,
fine. I'm not imperfect.
right. It's hard. It's hard. I still today, I've done thousands of videos. I've done, um, God, I write every single day. I write copy, I write emails. And it is hard to get vulnerable because in today's world of voyeurism, you're being judged immediately. You can be
Mhm.
like, I put my heart and soul into this piece and I got one like, just like you're like, who cares? I'm spending all this time caring about it. One person
Right,
watched it.
right, right.
So it's scary. And I think that's why most people don't do it, is because truly they don't see the value in it because they're scared. They're scared to go through the rejection, through the hate, through all of the things that will happen on social media and on the front lines. Um, but what I could say to people who are looking to get started, just as I say to our realtor partners here, your ability to perform through your fear, to record yourself doing that, will enhance your ability to pivot on the spot, to communicate at higher levels, to not be afraid to take your shot because you're practicing behind the scenes. So I think if you're ignoring media today, if you're ignoring hiring somebody like you to document them or to help them with their podcasts, you're going to be left behind. It's just the world we live in. I've fought it tooth and nail every year. This year is the year I think I'm going to go off social media. I have that thought every single year, every single year. And then I'm like, that is hilarious. That's hilarious. That's just not the
That's just
world we
not
live in.
happening.
Yeah.
No.
It's just where I'm not in the position yet to be able to do that. And it is a fantastic tool. You'd be blind to ignore the fact that it is a tool that can elevate and catapult your success.
I also feel like, yes, it can amplify, but the other A word is holding you accountable. There's something
Yeah.
that when I started to like, okay, we're going to do the thing, this accountability factor of showing up for myself, doing to do the thing that I set out to do was like
Hmm.
fascinating because it really made me look at everything else differently. Where it's like, oh, I set up this goal to show up for myself in this way. I'm not doing it really for anything but right now to show that I can do it, that I can incorporate a vlog showing the behind the scenes of me doing the thing that I'm doing every day. That's helping
Yeah.
other people scared to do the thing on social media to show you like I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Stuff happens. Like we barely started this one this morning,
Barely got
right?
this
Like
this
barely got
podcast off
this
the
going.
ground.
So it's like I love to show that realness. It
Yes.
may make some people question, like, well, if she makes mistakes, do I want to hire her? Then maybe they're not my people. Is
Sure.
that accurate to say? If it's just like, if you're not relating to the imperfectness of my day,
Yeah.
maybe they're just not the person for me.
I'd say they're probably not the person for you. And if we're being honest, the people you're speaking to and the people that your content will resonate with are imperfect as well. And so, what I have personally found is the more imperfect I am, the more I show the reality of me and all of the things that come with who I am and the way I am and my goofiness. Here's a great example. My blooper videos or my
Oh,
behind
they're
the
the best.
scenes, they are off the charts with views, engagement. People love it when I mess up. They love it. They're like, thank God you're messing up. Now I like you. And so it's one of those things where I say just go for it. There's not a single person you'll do business with, regardless of how much money they make, regardless of their successes, that is perfect. They make mistakes, they made failures to get to where they are. There was no way for them to be who they are and where they are without stumbling and fumbling multiple times. And so you just got to be willing to say, hey, I've got something worthy of wanting to be put out into the world. And I think it can help other people in whatever way, shape, or form. And just go for it. It's the world we live in.
Right. And well, it was like, yes, I'm scared to do the thing and I'm still going to do it. Right. Like you have to just be
Yes.
clear on like, yep, and I'm going to do it scared. And that's
Yes.
okay.
I mean, how many things, this is what I tell people all the time. How many things do you do a day that you were a little bit scared to do? And then of course, everyone's like, there's nothing. Like, I'm fearless. What are you talking about? And I'm like, were you scared to become a parent? Is there really a chapter in our parenting lives where we really are like, we're crushing it? We're just perfecting every freaking day of this parenthood. Are you kidding me? You have like 5 minutes of that thought, like, wow, I did it. And then the next moment, you're like, oh my God, I really
Hmm.
think I'm failing. So there isn't anything that we do that didn't start out feeling worrisome, concerned, unsure. So just go for it. This is like anything else you've tried and finally became successful at.
It's one of the hardest things as a transformational coach to explain to people that you're not going to do the work for them.
Mm,
that we come up with a plan, we come up with goals, I hold you accountable, but I, like you, not me, you as the
yeah.
coach, are not going to actually do the work for them. Do people
Yeah.
understand that when they're investing in a transformational coach that it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, like you still have to do the uncomfortable thing.
Hmm. You know, as I have always had more coaches and mentors than I have had friends. And I can tell you, as someone who's been coached, there has probably never been a coaching relationship where I don't show up at some point and say, can you just tell me what the to do? Can you just tell me what to do today, please? So no, I don't think anybody is exempt from wanting that. I think at some point we all just go, can you, I really would appreciate if you just told me what pants to wear today and how someone could do my hair maybe. I don't like, could you do the meeting for me? I don't want to. I've had many business clients that definitely want to just rip off and duplicate. And while that is a method of catapulting your business forward quickly, it what I have found is it always ends in a lack of longevity, because when you don't go through the earned work to create the outcome is not sustainable. So I've had a lot of folks in the industry when I went the wellness component and started really building the business around this, wanting to do that, which was part of my mission. I want to change the industry. I want the ripple effect. I want healthier people in the world. But what I saw happening was a lot of rip off and duplicate, not a lot of practicing and earning their way to saying, I am a healthier person. I want to lead healthy people too. And so it wasn't sustainable. So I think when you think of the word transformation, I can't transform you, I can't empower you. I can guide, I can suggest, I can um, create opportunity and containers for you to do the work inside of with guidance, but I can't do it for you because then it would be my work. I would be transformed. You might feel good about saying, like, oh, I got it, I'm making a little more money or whatever. But to sustain that over time is it's near impossible.
Well, also the goalpost move, right? So like we created goals, we worked together, we reached those goals. Well, it
Yeah,
doesn't just stop. Like there
right.
really is no
Life goes
finish
on.
line in business. Like you
Right,
talked about being in like being a runner, like there's a finish line there, but there is not a finish line in this business and in life. It
right.
just keeps going. The goalposts move. And so I feel like
Well,
working with somebody like you helps people to understand number one, yes, we have to do the hard work. Number two, transformation. Think about a butterfly, right? The caterpillar literally becomes goop,
mhm.
becomes like nothing
Take us
before it
through it.
becomes
Take us through
right.
it. Yeah,
It's crazy. And then they become a butterfly.
it
But
is the truth.
there's that icky part where it's like, yes, it's gonna be hard. Like nobody promised easy, but that's how we learn and we grow. And then we can also pivot. I think a lot of people feel like they want to do one thing and they start doing the thing and they feel like, oh, but I said I wanted to do the thing. And I think sometimes we need permission to pivot. Like, hey, if that's really not the thing ultimately while you're doing it and you realize this isn't what I thought it would be, just like when you started, right, in corporate America, it's
Yes,
okay to be like, okay, maybe I've got years behind me in this thing, but that's okay too to sort of pivot and say, okay, what's the next thing? And I feel
totally.
like
We
people
all
feel
have our unique
stuck.
journeys. Yeah. Well, and I think that that's where empowerment is really important. Transformation creates that empowerment is when you can look at something and say, that was an awesome chapter. And when the chapter was ready to close out, I had enough wherewithal within me and confidence to go, okay, what am I going to do next? Or what should it be next? Or what was I missing and learning from? I just released, I don't know if you're on the Empowerment Edit newsletter that I sent out. So I
I don't
started
think so.
this. Okay, I just started this last year because I felt like social media is such a great outlet. It's such a great platform, except for someone like me that really, I'm obsessed. I have an insatiable desire for improvement and betterment, which means I mess up all the time because I'm always trying new things to get better outcomes. And so I really wanted an outlet to be able to share with people like, here's the failure, here's the lesson, here's how I'm doing it. Hope this helps. My point in saying this is that when people go through the transformation and they haven't earned it is you don't get to look back and go, I don't like this, or I did like that, because you don't have the runway, you don't have the backstory. You just have someone gave me something in a box, I popped it out, it worked, and now I don't have any context. So it's like reading the ending of a book and going, okay, that was a cool ending, but how did they get there?
Right.
It's not as sweet without the journey. It's not as enriched or fulfilling in any way, shape, or form. It's like in grade school. I don't know about you, but I had a best friend that was extremely smart, and I was not. I was not book smart. It was so boring to me. I wanted to just talk and hang out and learn about the people around me. Go figure. And my best friend was brilliant. She was always studying, and I copied off her a lot. And one day I got caught. Thank God I
Hmm.
got caught, because I learned a really valuable lesson. Because my teacher actually made me give context and was like, hey, I'm not going to give you the test. I just want you to verbally explain some things to me. That was it. It was donezo. It was
Right.
gone. I was like, you're right. I cheated. I don't know
Sorry.
any of this. That was a great example of I had the outcome. I aced the tests over and over and over again, but I had zero context of the learning. And that's where life is. That's that's the beauty of transformation, of evolution, of living, is like the life part, the life thing, the details that go into all of the outcomes we have.
Okay, so how do I get on the newsletter? How do I get on
Yeah.
the
Oh,
list?
I can
So,
add you.
and then
So
add
what
me, but I want to put it in the links in the description because I want people to join as well if they want words of wisdom. Are
okay.
you also taking on more transformational coaching clients, or are you
I
like done right now?
I am. No, I have
Okay.
5 spots open. So I only
Okay.
coach 10 people at a time. So I have 5 spots open right now. And it is a whole, um, because this is not a core business for me, this is something that I do um, as a prong to my business. Uh, it needs to be a fit. I'm not, so my point is, I'm not looking for a headcount model here. I'm looking for the
Right.
right people that I can really help and that we align and we're the right fit to get the job done.
What's the
So
best way for people to reach out to you then?
yes, best way would be my email, which is Jessica at thriverealtyco.com, or you can find me on social media, which is Jess Woodbeck on Instagram, and just send me a DM.
Oh my God, I love this. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. You're so amazing. I'm
thanks.
so happy that I got to meet you. When I saw that those social media posts and I was like, this woman gets it, I sort of left it up to the universe and like one day I'll meet her and it worked out and I met you and it was just
Yeah,
so perfect because I was like I keep doing that in these spaces where it's like, you know what, if I'm meant to meet this person, I will, and it keeps happening. So I loved every second of just this journey that I'm on, even the hard days. I've still loved those days because they make the good days even better.
exactly. We need the contrast. Well, I love hearing that, and I'm rooting for you this year. I'm excited to see you make some different moves. I know you're gunning for it, so
We're
it'll be good.
trying. We're trying. We'll see what
You're doing it.
happens.